Today we're going to go over my Tomcat host. This is up on Vulnhub. I thought this was an interesting server because it's definitely along the easy lines, but it continues on with this theme throughout, and I just thought it was really well done. And since I can't teach my penetration testing classes on the weekend, I figured that I would take it to YouTube. So let's kick this off with an Nmap scan. And I'm just going to do a simple scan because if we go the long version, it's just going to take too much time. And really, we sort of know what the entry is already because it's in the name of the box. So when we come back, we see that we've got a couple of ports open, and we already know we're going for Tomcat. So I'm going to come back to the browser here. We're going to connect to port 8080. And so we get your default Tomcat screen here. Now, there's a couple links over here, and this manager app is going to prompt us for a password. If you go on the internet, you can find a bunch of default creds. And the first one we normally want to start with is Tomcat and Tomcat as a password. So we hit enter, and then we get to this screen here. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this, you might not know what to do, but if we scroll down here, we can see that it will let us deploy a WAR file. And so what we can do is we can come over here, and I'm going to spawn a new tab, so Control-Shift-T, and I'm going to use MSFvenom, and I'm going to create a Java reverse shell. And we're going to point it to our attacking box. And the attacking port I'm using is 443. And then we're going to tell it we're going to output in the format of a WAR file. And then we're going to give it a name. And we're going to call this shell.war. So it's going to take a second. And when this comes back up, we're going to be able to upload this and deploy it. So while this is waiting, I'm going to open up another tab. So Shift-Control-T, and I'm going to set up a listener on Netcat port 443. Back over here. This is still thinking. Okay, so we're done. And so now I'm going to browse to that. And that's going to be under here. And so now we see that we've got our file here, and we're going to deploy it. And so when we deploy it, we're going to come over here, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to see shell. And now if we just click on this, we should come back over to our screen and see that we've got an inbound connection. So let's clean this up a little bit. -c, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash, and then we're going to export term to xterm. So this cleans it up, and we can do clear and things like that. Yeah, so when we get out of box, I might do something like look for set UID binaries. So I'm going to do find -perm -4000. Actually, I think find slash -perm -4000, and then we're going to send all errors to dev null. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to search, and it's going to find these set UID binaries. I'm going to look through this list. These all seem pretty standard. So a lot of times in these CTFs, you'll find that there's maybe some binary that got set with a sticky bit, and that'll allow us to abuse it. And there's a website, it's like GTFO bins, and you can look up and match that binary and see if there's a way to abuse it. So that didn't work for us. So another thing we might do is we might let's see if we have any sort of pseudo permissions. So, and it turns out that we have the ability to run this Java binary with no password on behalf of root. So again, continuing on with this Java and Tomcat theme, the maker of this box is taking us down a similar path as we did previously. So we're going to come back up here, and this time we're going to do MSF Venom because we're going to create a jar file, MSF Venom minus P, and we're going to go with Java slash shell reverse underscore TCP. So slightly different than before. Again, we're going to point it to our attacking machine. So lhost, and our listening port is going to be 443 again. And this time we're going to do jar, and we're going to call this shell.jar. And let's see, that looks good. And so we're going to execute again, and we're going to spin up another tab here, Control Shift T, and we're going to listen again on 443. And let's come back here. We're going to wait for this to finish. Thinking. Where am I? So meanwhile, I'm going to move into the temp directory. Okay, and so we're done. So now I'm going to move this over to the web directory. Should pick my file. Shell.jar var www html. Now I'm going to come over to my victim, and I'm going to use curl to pull this over. And I'm going to output the file to the same name. And so there's our jar file. And so now we're going to do sudo, and we're going to copy this long string, because I don't feel like typing it. And we're going to do minus jar, and then we're going to do shell.jar. And I have my listener set up. So my listener is waiting. So we execute, and we come over here, and we do an ID, and we're root. And we can do ls root, and there's the proof. Now, I'm not going to cat this because I'm going to leave this to you, but that is all we have. So hope you like this, and if you've got any feedback, hit me up on YouTube or Twitter.